Practice is well underway, just shy of an hour remaining, and we're still waiting for Adam Tias to set his first lap time. "57 minutes and 48 seconds left on the clock for this practice session, and Darren Nickel is yet to put a time on the board. Adam Tias wastes no time, immediately going fastest with a 1:41.088 to claim provisional pole.
To come out and set that kind of benchmark right away, that's exactly what you want to do as a driver, get comfortable and show intent.
Darren Nickel now slots into P2 with a 1:45.576, still some way off Tias, but he's on the board. Tias remains unchallenged at the top of the leaderboard with his 1:41.088, looking very comfortable out there.
Maintaining that focus in a long practice session after setting a quick time is key. You can't afford to get complacent.
Jimmy Lindo is another driver yet to log a lap time, with just under 56 minutes remaining in practice. Darren Nickel holds on to P2 for now, a good 4.5 seconds adrift of the leader.
He'll be looking to chip away at that gap. Sometimes it takes a few runs to find the rhythm and really push the limits of the car.
And Philip Kunz is another name we're waiting to see on the timing screens, still no lap time from him.
Sometimes you see teams doing system checks or specific setup work before sending the driver out for a flying lap. There's usually a plan.
Still no time on the board for Jimmy Lindo, as the clock ticks down in this practice session.
He might be waiting for the track to rubber in a bit more, or perhaps they're making some adjustments in the garage. There's plenty of time left to get a feel for the circuit.
Philip Kunz still hasn't registered a lap time, a bit surprising as we're now well into the session.
It could be anything from a minor issue they're resolving, or perhaps a planned later run to evaluate track evolution. As a driver, you don't want to rush if the car isn't perfect.
No lap time from Jimmy Lindo yet, as we approach the halfway mark of this practice session.
He'll want to get out there soon to get some data and feedback. It's crucial to understand the car's balance before qualifying.
Darren Nichols still in P2, that 145.576 is holding for now, but Tiaz is still over 4 seconds up the road.
He's definitely found a decent baseline, but to challenge for the top, he'll need to extract a lot more. It's about finding those tenths in every corner.
Jimmy Lindo remains conspicuous by his absence on the timing screens, no lap time from him yet.
He's missing valuable track time right now. Even a single installation lap can tell you a lot about the conditions and the car's initial feel.
Darren Nichols has dropped to P4, his 145.576 now seeing him push down the order as others get up to speed. A new name on the leaderboard as Philip Kunz sets a 141.357, slotting into P3 and looking strong.
That's a very competitive first flying lap from Kunz. To be within a few tenths of Tiaz right away shows good confidence in the car.
And there's Jimmy Lindo, finally on the board, and straight into P3 with a 141.209. What a way to start.
Well, that explains the weight. He's clearly got a strong package. Sometimes it's better to hold back, watch the others, and then go out and nail it.
Joel Lemrick is now the only driver we're waiting for to post a lap time as the session approaches its final stages.
Every driver needs at least one representative lap to gauge the car and track. I'd be looking to get out there quickly if I were him.
Kunz goes even quicker, a 140.775 puts him at the top of the pile, dethroning Tiaz.
That's an impressive improvement. He's found grip and confidence. When you get that rhythm, the lap times just start flowing.
Jimmy Lindo remains in P3 with his 141.209, a strong showing so far from him. Adam Tia's response. He improves his time to a 140.979, but it's only good enough for P2, still behind Kunz. And Joel Lemerick finally sets a time, a 143.344, which places him in P4. Everyone on the board now.
It's always good to get that first time down. Now he can start building from there, pushing harder and finding where the car needs attention.
Philip Kunz still reigns supreme at the top, his 140.775 setting the benchmark here. Tia's in P2, looking to close that gap to Kunz. Less than half a second separating the top two.
He'll be analyzing the data from that last lap, looking for those small margins. In my experience, even a tiny adjustment to a brake bias or diff setting can unlock a few tenths.
Now we see Elliot Norton has joined the track, but he's yet to put a lap time on the board.
It's late in the session to be just getting out there. He'll want to get up to speed quickly and understand how the track has evolved.
And Maximilian Turbin, too, has just joined the session, no lap time from him yet.
This is a real disadvantage, coming out so late. You lose that crucial track time and the opportunity to fine-tune the car.
Nigel Walters, not a name we've heard until now, slots straight into P4 with a 141.724.
That's a strong debut lap. To come out and be immediately competitive shows real pace and confidence in the setup.
Kunz continues to lead the way, his 140.775 holding firm as the fastest lap. Dominic Fovarg has also just entered the session, still to register a lap time.
It's a bold strategy for these drivers coming out so late. They're going to have to be on it straight away.
Elliot Norton posts his first time, a 141.228, which is good enough for P4. Thomas Kruger Dorado now joining the list of those yet to log a time. Still plenty of action to come. Jimmy Lindo improves. A 140.958 moves him into P2, just under 2/10 off Kunz. Elliot Norton drops to P5, with Lindo's improvement pushing him down a spot. Josh Daw has just entered the track, adding another name to the list of drivers without a lap time. Nigel Walters improves. A 141.048 puts him into P4, just outside the top 3.
He's definitely finding his rhythm. You can see the confidence building with each lap, pushing the car harder into the corners.
Joel Lemrick has fallen to P9, that initial lap time now significantly behind the quicker runners.
He needs to find some serious pace now. The track is getting quicker, and others are clearly extracting more performance from their cars.
Lindo is still in P2, holding strong just behind Kunz. Jody Fannin is now out on track, adding to the growing list of those yet to set a time. Adam Tiaz drops to P4, Lindo and Walters pushing him down the order. Kunz improves his time to 140.695, but it's only good for P2 now. Someone else must have gone quicker.
That shows how rapidly the track is evolving. You can make an improvement and still get jumped. You always have to push for more.
Tia's improves, a 140.953, moving him up to P3 in this constantly shifting leaderboard.
He's definitely pushing hard to respond to the changing times. Finding those small gains is what practice is all about.
Josh Daw is still out there, yet to register a lap time as the session enters its final third. Elliot Norton has slipped down to P6, that initial time being overtaken by several other drivers now. Jimmy Lindo now drops to P5, a testament to how quick the pace is getting here in practice.
He'll need to find another gear soon. The track conditions are prime, and everyone is pushing for those last few tenths.
Kunz remains in P2, that 140.695 holding up, but still not the fastest overall. And there it is, Thomas Kruger Dorado storms to the top with a blistering 140.265. Still no lap time from Josh Daw, as we get closer to the final minutes of this practice session. Elliot Norton continues to fall down the order, now in P7. John Boontakis is on the board, a 146.119 placing him in P13. Maximilian Turbin finally sets a time, a 141.894 good enough for P9.
It's good to see him get a time down. Now they can start working on the balance and preparing for qualifying.
Jody Fannin, who we were waiting for, now puts in a stellar 140.782, straight into P3. Josh Daw finally logs a lap, a 142.482, putting him in P12. Everyone now has a time.
It's always a relief to get that first time on the board, no matter where it is. Now the real work begins for him.
Elliot Norton still in P7, holding his position as we approach the final 30 minutes.
He'll be looking to make some changes and go for another run. The track conditions are optimal right now.
Maximilian Turbin improves his time to a 141.439, now up to P8. Adam Tiaz is currently in P4, his time still very competitive, just a few tenths off the leading pace.
He's definitely got the pace to challenge for the top spot. It's about putting that perfect lap together in these crucial practice runs.
Josh Daw remains in P12. He'll be hoping to find some more speed on his next run.
He'll be looking at the data, comparing his sectors to the quicker cars. There's always room for improvement, especially on a fresh set of tires.
Elliot Norton improves his time, a 141.008 moves him up to P6, a good step forward. Nigel Walters now drops to P7 as Norton leapfrogs him.
This is the nature of practice. You set a good time, but someone else can always go quicker. It keeps you on your toes.
Joel Lemrick finds some significant pace, improving to a 141.590 and moving up to P9.
That's a much better lap from him. It shows they've made some positive changes or he's just unlocked more potential.
Darren Nickel improves, but only slightly, a 143.988 sees him in P14.
He's still struggling to find the ultimate pace. He'll need a big jump in the next few runs to be competitive.
Tias is still sitting in P4, quietly consistent but looking to challenge for the very top spot.
He's definitely got the car under him. It's about finding that extra tenth or two without overdriving and making a mistake.
John Boontakis improves to a 143.391, moving him up a spot to P13. Darren Nickel continues in P14, still not finding the pace he needs. Josh Daw remains in P12 as we approach the final 25 minutes of practice. Kunz is now in P3, still very quick, but the top has been shuffled significantly.
He's still a strong contender for pole. Sometimes, you don't show all your cards in practice, saving that extra bit for qualifying.
Nigel Walters remains in P7, consistent but needing an extra push to climb further up. Chris Stokes is now making his first appearance on track, yet to register a lap time. Darren Nickel improves his time, a 143.229, but it doesn't move him up from P14. David Constable Barry has now joined the session, a late entrant, yet to set a time.
He's really cut it fine to get out there. He'll have to be on it immediately to get a feel for the car and track.
John Boontakis makes a significant jump, improving to a 141.953, moving him to P12. Elliot Norton continues his charge, a 140.778 moves him up to P5, a great improvement.
He's really dialing it in now. That kind of jump late in practice shows they've found something in the setup.
Rich Snape now posts a 141.732, placing him in P12. Adam Tiaz is now in P7, the field really bunching up at the sharp end. Nigel Walters has slipped to P8, finding himself just outside the top 7.
It's so competitive out there. You have to be absolutely perfect to maintain a top position in these conditions.
Martin Mull registers his first time, a 141.405, placing him in P10.
Another driver on the board, adding to the intensity. It's good to see so many different cars setting competitive times.
Jimmy Lindo goes very quick. A 140.168 puts him into P2, just a whisker off the leader. Rich Snape now finds himself in P13 as Lindo's improvement shuffles the pack further. Thomas Kruger Dorado, who was leading, is now down to P4 as the times continue to tumble. Daniel Kochish now posts a 145.683, which puts him in P20.
He's definitely got some work to do. That's a good few seconds off the pace, but it's a starting point.
Mac McFarquhar now posts his first time, a 1:43.071, placing him in P17.
He's in the midfield for now. I'd be looking for immediate feedback on the balance to see where improvements can be made.
Lindo is still in P2, looking incredibly strong and consistently fast. Chris Stokes posts a fantastic 1:40.563 on his first run, launching him straight into P7.
What an entrance. That's a serious statement of intent from Stokes, to be that quick on his very first flying lap.
Martin Mole with a massive improvement, a 1:40.148, he's up to P2 and pushing for the lead. Stokes remains in P7, his initial impressive time still holding its own against the surging field. Joel Lemrick improves again, a 1:41.121, but it only moves him to P11. Philip Kunz reclaims the top spot, a 1:40.147, just a thousandth of a second quicker than Mole. Elliot Norton has been shuffled down to P9, the top times are incredibly close now.
It just shows you how tight this field is. Even a quick lap can see you drop several positions in an instant. John Boontakis is down to P16, as the rapid pace of the session pushes him further back. David Constable Barry gets a time on the board, a 1:41.844, placing him in P15. Considering how late he came out, that's a respectable first effort. He'll have gathered some valuable data now.
Nigel Walters rockets up the order with a 1:40.241, slotting into P6. Rich Snape now in P14, the times are really flying out there. Dominic Fovarg sets his first time, a 141.414, putting him in P13. Adam Tias improves, a 140.216, but it's only good for P6 now, the field is so quick.
He's still very much in contention. It's about finding that extra couple of hundredths now. Every corner matters.
Daniel Kochish improves to a 142.940, moving him up to P17.
He's making steady progress. It's about finding consistency and building confidence lap after lap.
Maximilian Turbin gets a good lap in, a 140.859 moves him up to P10. Mac McFarquhar now drops to P18, the times around him are really improving. Jimmy Lindo, despite his very strong time, is now in P6, showing the depth of talent here. Rich Snape continues in P14, not making any significant inroads on the top 10 yet. Maximilian Turbin finds more pace, a 140.527, but he remains in P10. Jody Fannin with a phenomenal lap, a 140.011, moving him up to P5. John Astrup now making his first appearance on track, with less than 6 minutes remaining. Tiaz is now in P8, still looking for that ultimate lap as the clock winds down. Rich Snape still holding P14, not much time left for a significant improvement now. Adam Tiaz is currently in P8, a competitive time, but he'll be wanting more from this session.
He's definitely got the ability to extract more. It's about nailing that last sector and finding a little bit of magic.
Elliot Norton improves to a 140.509, but it only moves him to P9, showing how tight the top 10 is.
He's pushing hard. In these closing minutes, every driver is trying to squeeze out that final bit of performance.
David Constable Barry still in P16, running out of time to make a major impact. Jody Fannin is holding P6 with that superb 140.011 lap time. Mole goes even faster, a 139.903, putting him in P3 and breaking into the 139s.
Now that's a serious statement. To dip under the 140 mark in practice is a clear sign of intent for the weekend.
Jody Fannin responds immediately, a 139.960 for him, also breaking the 140 barrier and moving to P4. Philip Kunz, who was leading earlier, now finds himself in P5 with that 139.960, a remarkable time that's still being outpaced.
It's incredible. He's posted a sub-1 to 40 lap, which is blisteringly quick, and yet he's still dropping down the order. Everyone is finding serious pace now.
Chris Stokes improves to a 140.195, placing him in P8 as the final seconds of practice tick away. Daniel Kochish is P19 with just 7 seconds left on the clock for this practice session. Joel Lemrick is in P14 with a 141.121, and with only 24 seconds left, that looks like his final position.
There's no time left for anyone to make a meaningful run now. Drivers will be focusing on cool-down laps and bringing the car in.
Chris Stokes holds P8 as the final moments of this practice session tick down. Elliot Norton's 140.509 places him in P10 as we enter the very final minutes of this session. Martin Mull holds P3 with his excellent 139.903, just over a minute and 40 seconds remaining in this session.
He's definitely found the sweet spot with that lap. At this point in practice, it's about building confidence and confirming your setup for the main event.
Welcome to qualifying here at Interlagos, the circuit buzzing as the cars prepare, with the wind speed noted at 8. Qualifying is officially underway, just under 4 minutes and 45 seconds remain, and Lemrick is yet to post a time. Down to 4 minutes 18, Boontakas still hasn't registered a time either, the pressure beginning to build for him. Three minutes 46 to go, and Constable Barry also finds himself without a qualifying time on the board. Three minutes 14 seconds left in this session, and Mac McFarquhar still needs to put time down.
This is where the nerves really start to kick in. You need to find clear track and nail that lap, no room for error now. Lemrick will be pushing hard to get out and find some space. You can't afford to waste time in these short sessions.
Lemrick finally on the board with a 142.613, slotting into second with just a minute 24 left. Lindo still holds provisional pole, a 140.944, with only a minute and 16 seconds for anyone to challenge that time. Martin Mole holds a strong second position with a 141.219, but time is running out with just a minute and 7 seconds on the clock.
He'll be looking to extract every last tenth on this final push lap, trying to find that perfect balance and hook it all up.
Philip Kunz is P14 with 52 seconds to go, currently running just 300ths up on his personal best.
He's finding it tough to improve. You're always trying to find clear air and string together the perfect lap right at the end of these sessions.
Nico Vaughn is in trouble here, still no time on the board with just 38 seconds remaining. Astrup is absolutely flying, over a second up on his best time with 27 seconds left. This could be a big jump up the order. Astrup takes a massive leap, improving to a 142.091, now in P12 with only 15 seconds left.
That's a fantastic improvement. Finding that pace when it really counts, that's what qualifying is all about.
Lindo has improved his provisional pole time to a 140.656, making it even tougher for anyone to snatch P1 in these final seconds. Botkin is lighting up the timing screens, 2 seconds up on his best time with 40 seconds remaining. What a lap this could be. Rich Snape pushing hard, 3/10 up on his best lap with 48 seconds left, looking to climb out of P17. Boontakis is absolutely flying, over 2 seconds up on his personal best with 57 seconds on the clock. A huge improvement is coming.
He's really put it all on the line here, finding that extra speed in the final moments. That's a make or break lap for him.
Vaughn registers a 144.201, currently P21, but he's just slightly off that pace on his current lap with over a minute remaining. Kocic is P14 with a 142.022, but he's well off the pace on this current lap, probably backing off.
Yeah, at this point, if you've already put in a decent time, you might just be looking for a clear track for a practice start or saving tires for the race.
Kocic holds P14 with his 142.022, still a minute and 48 seconds on the clock.
He's got a solid time in, so he might be content with that, or perhaps looking for another shot if he sees an opportunity for a tow.
Welcome to Interlagos. The atmosphere is electric as we await the start of this highly anticipated race.
This circuit always delivers, and with a 13-knot wind, those high-speed corners are going to be a real test of stability and nerve. I remember those gusts well.
And starting from second on the grid, it's the German Philipp Kuntz in his Chevrolet Copa Montana, a formidable pro-class contender.
Kuntz is known for his aggressive starts, and from P2, he'll be looking to make an immediate impact into turn 1. It's a prime position to challenge for the lead.
Right behind Kuntz, in third position, we have Chris Stokes from England, also piloting a Chevrolet Copa Montana.
Stokes from P3 has a great opportunity to draft Kuntz and challenge the pole sitter into that first corner. It's a critical launch point where races can be won or lost right at the start.
Further down the grid, in fifth position, it's Jimmy Lindo in his Chevrolet Copa Montana, a Pro-Am driver looking to make his mark. Martin Mol from the Netherlands, another pro-class driver, is lining up in sixth place in his Chevrolet Copa Montana. And in seventh, we have Adam Tias from England, an M-Class driver also in a Chevrolet Copa Montana. Lining up in eighth, it's Elliot Norton from the United Kingdom, another pro-class competitor in a Chevrolet Copa Montana.
P8 can be a tricky start position, you're in the thick of it with traffic, but it also offers opportunities to pick up places if there's any chaos ahead.
In ninth, we find Nigel Walters from the United Kingdom, an M-Class driver also in a Chevrolet Copa Montana.
Walters will be keen to get a good run here. Staying clear of the early race jostling is key to a solid performance from the middle of the pack.
Rounding out the top 10, it's Phil Bodkin from England, an M-Class driver in his Chevrolet Copa Montana. Maximilian Turbin from England starts in 11th, another M-Class driver in a Chevrolet Copa Montana. From 12th position, we have Dominic Fauvargue from the United Kingdom, a Pro-Am class driver.
Fauvargue is in an interesting spot. P12 means he'll have clear air to his side on the grid, potentially allowing him to cut across and gain a few spots if the drivers ahead don't get a clean launch.
David Constable Barry from England lines up in 13th, a Pro-Am class driver in the Chevrolet Copa Montana. From 14th, it's Daniel Kocic from Hungary, a Pro-Am class driver.
Kocic will be focused on a clean start, particularly with the tighter mid-pack action. Avoiding contact is paramount to making progress from here.
Starting 15th, Mac McFarquhar from the United Kingdom, a pro-class driver.
McFarquhar is a pro driver starting further back. He'll be looking to scythe his way through the field, which means we could see some aggressive moves early on.
From 17th on the grid, it's John Astrup from New Zealand, a pro-class driver in his Chevrolet Copa Montana.
Astrup is one to watch even from P17. I've seen pro drivers make incredible runs from deep in the pack, so he'll be aiming for maximum attack from the get-go.
The lights are out and the race is underway at Interlagos. Jody Fannin, who started from pole, holds onto the lead through the first few corners. Jody Fannin, starting from pole, has held that crucial lead into the first lap.
Maintaining that P1 into the first complex is absolutely vital. It allows you to control the race from the front, setting your own pace and minimizing early fights.
Mac McFarquhar, however, has dropped back from his 15th starting position and is now down to 19th.
That's a tough start for McFarquhar. Losing 4 spots early on means he's got a big job ahead to make up that ground. It's easy to get caught out in the mid-pack scramble.
Adam Tias has lost a few places, dropping from 7th down to 12th on this opening lap.
Tias would have wanted to hold his line better. Dropping 5 positions on the opening lap makes the rest of the race a fight just to get back to where he started.
We're now focusing on Neil Constable-Berry in 22nd, with Josh Daw just ahead in 21st, a tight 0.3 second gap between them. Jimmy Lindo is currently holding 5th, battling hard with Thomas Kruger Dorado just 0.1 seconds ahead in 4th. Lindo's last lap was a 1:52.205.
That 0.1 second gap means Lindo is right in Dorado's slipstream. He'll be looking for any opportunity to make a move. That's where drafting can be incredibly effective on this circuit.
And Lindo has made the move. Jimmy Lindo is now up to 4th position, having overtaken Thomas Kruger Dorado.
That was a sharp pass. The gap is now 0.3 seconds as Lindo establishes his new position. Capitalizing on that close following we saw earlier, a perfect execution.
Down in 20th, it's Nico Vaughn, with Josh Daw right on his tail, just 0.2 seconds back in 21st. Vaughn's last lap was 2:01.218.
Vaughn is under pressure here. That 0.2 second gap is nothing. Daw will be pushing hard to find a way past in the next few corners. That's a classic cat and mouse battle.
We're now with Mac McFarquhar in 15th, closing in on John Astrup in 14th, just 0.2 seconds separating them. McFarquhar clocked a 1:58.341 on his last lap.
This is an encouraging sign for McFarquhar. He's clawing back some of those lost positions. Being 0.2 seconds behind Astrup puts him in a great position to challenge on the straights or under braking.
McFarquhar has done it. He's moved up to 14th, passing Astrup and now has a 0.5 second lead.
Fantastic move from McFarquhar. He's gained that position and established a half-second buffer almost immediately, a real show of strength after a difficult start.
Joel Lemrick is in 12th on lap 2, just a tenth of a second behind Nigel Walters in 11th. Lemrick setting a quick 1:41.849 last lap. And Joel Lemrick has made the move, taking 11th position from Nigel Walters. The gap is currently 0 as they run side by side. What an opening few laps we've witnessed. The midfield has been absolutely alive with action, positions changing constantly.
That's what makes Interlagos so exciting. The flow of this circuit allows for multiple overtaking opportunities if a driver is brave enough, and we've seen plenty of bravery already.
It's fascinating to see drivers like McFarquhar recover so strongly after a challenging start, clawing back those positions one by one.
It speaks to their focus. You can't dwell on a bad start, you just have to reset, find your pace, and start picking off cars. I've had to do it myself many times.
And the battles amongst the Pro-Am and drivers are just as intense, often running nose to tail for multiple corners.
Absolutely. Every class has something to prove, and the margins are so fine, especially with these Chevrolet Copa Montanas. It's all about precision and tire management now.
That wind we mentioned at the start seems to be playing its part too, especially through the faster sections.
It definitely adds another layer of complexity. You feel those gusts, and it can upset the car significantly in the high-speed corners. You have to be incredibly smooth on the steering input.
The lap times are really starting to settle down now as the race progresses into its rhythm.
Finding that consistent rhythm is key to building a race. Once you're comfortable, that's when you can start pushing for those crucial tenths. We'll be looking for who can maintain that pace.
Still so much to play for with plenty of time left on the clock. Maximilian Turbin is up to 9th on lap 3, now chasing Dominic Fovarg in 8th, just 0.2 of a second separating them. Turbin's best lap so far is a 1:41.181.
That's a classic battle for position. A 0.2 second gap means Turbin is right in Fovarg's dirty air, trying to find clean track to make a move. You have to be patient but also ready to pounce.
Maximilian Turbin has made the pass. He's now into 8th position, with Dominic Fovarg dropping to 9th, and Turbin now has a 0.2 second advantage.
Excellent move from Turbin. He clearly found a way past, and now immediately opens up a small gap, which is crucial for consolidating the position and getting out of Fovarg's slipstream.
Elliot Norton is holding 5th position on lap 3, with Martin Mole 0.3 seconds behind in 6th. Norton's last lap was a 1:41.290.
Norton is doing a good job managing that gap. 0.3 is enough to feel comfortable, but not so much that Mole can't close in if Norton makes even a small mistake. It's a constant balancing act.
Joel Lemerick has dropped down the order significantly to 23rd, now battling Darren Nickel in 22nd, a tiny 0.1 second gap. Lemerick's last lap was 2:02.47. Lemerick has moved up to 22nd, passing Darren Nickel and now holds a 0.6 second lead. And Lemerick continues to make progress, now in 21st, pulling out a 0.8 second gap to Darren Nickel in 23rd. John Astrup is in 15th, just 0.1 seconds behind Rich Snape in 14th. Astrup's best lap is a 1:42.549. The gap between Astrup and Snape has widened slightly, now 0.3 seconds, with Snape still holding 14th.
It looks like Snape has managed to find a little bit of pace, or Astrup just lost a critical tenth or two in a corner. That's enough to break the toe for now, making it harder for Astrup to close back in.
Phil Bodkin is holding 16th position on lap 4, with David Constable Barry just a tenth of a second behind him in 17th. Phil Bodkin has extended his lead over David Constable Barry to 0.3 seconds, still maintaining 16th.
Bodkin found a crucial few tenths there. That slight increase in the gap gives him a little breathing room, making it harder for Constable Barry to launch an immediate attack.
John Astrup is still in 15th, now 0.4 seconds behind Rich Snape in 14th. Astrup's best lap is a 1:42.549. The gap to Rich Snape has grown again. Astrup is still in 15th, now trailing Snape in 14th by 0.5 seconds.
It's proving difficult for Astrup to close that gap. Snape seems to be finding a consistent pace, and every tenth he gains makes it tougher for Astrup to mount a challenge.
Adam Tiaz is in 11th on lap 5, just 0.1 seconds ahead of Daniel Kosic in 12th. Tiaz setting a 1:42.051 for his best lap. Daniel Kosic has made the pass. Tiaz drops to 12th, with Kosic now in 11th, and they are running side by side. Elliot Norton is chasing Jimmy Lindo hard for 5th, just 0.1 seconds separating them. Norton's last lap a blistering 1:40.635.
That's an impressive lap time from Norton. He's really found his rhythm and is absolutely on the tail of Lindo. This is where a late braking move or a good exit from the final corner could make all the difference.
Rich Snape is in 14th, now challenging Nigel Walters in 13th, just 0.2 seconds between them. Snape's last lap was a 1:41.744.
Snape is really putting the pressure on Walters here. 2/10 means he's almost in the slipstream, looking for a way past. It's a prime position for an overtake.
The gap between Rich Snape and Nigel Walters has grown to 0.3 seconds, with Walters still holding 13th.
It looked like Snape was about to make a move, but Walters must have had a stronger exit from the last corner to open that small gap. It's so marginal out there.
Martin Mull is now up into 3rd position, with Chris Stokes 0.3 seconds back in 4th. Mull's best lap is an impressive 1:40.613.
Mull is absolutely flying now. To be in P3 with that kind of pace, he's clearly found his groove. Maintaining that 3/10 lead over Stokes will be his focus now. It's a good buffer.
Maximilian Turbin is in 7th, just 0.1 seconds behind Elliot Norton in 6th. Turbin's last lap a 1:41.032.
This is a serious battle for 6th place. That 1/10 gap means Turbin is practically glued to Norton's gearbox, looking for any mistake or opportunity into a braking zone. This is where the race gets intense.
Turbin has dropped back. He's now in 8th, with Elliot Norton pulling away into 6th, and the gap between them has stretched to 0.9 seconds.
That's a significant loss of ground for Turbin after being so close. It suggests he might have made an error, or perhaps Norton just executed a perfect sequence of corners to escape that pressure. A 0.9 second gap is a lot to make up now.
Elliot Norton is in 6th, now chasing Chris Stokes in 5th, just 0.2 seconds between them.
Norton is back on the hunt. After gaining some breathing room, he's now closing in on Stokes, which suggests he's found some incredible pace. This is where he can really benefit from the slipstream.
Norton makes the move. Elliot Norton is now into 5th, passing Chris Stokes, and they are neck and neck. Thomas Kruger Dorado is now in 7th, right on the tail of Chris Stokes in 6th, just 0.1 seconds separating them on lap 6. Dorado has dropped back to 8th position, and Chris Stokes has pulled out a 0.6 second lead now in 6th.
That's a bit of a surprise after being so close. Dorado must have had a moment or run wide. In racing, those small errors are immediately punished, especially when you're battling for position.
Chris Stokes is down to 9th position, now trailing Dominic Fovarg in 8th by a significant 3.4 seconds.
3.5 seconds is a massive gap to make up in a few laps. Stokes has clearly had some kind of issue or a major loss of pace to drop back so far from the lead group. It's a real setback.
Phil Bodkin is in 15th on lap 7, just 0.1 seconds behind John Astrup in 14th. Bodkin's best lap is an impressive 1:41.121.
That's a classic example of nose-to-tail racing. Bodkin is right there, pushing Astrup, looking for a moment to capitalize. These are the battles that define the mid-pack.
Phil Bodkin has made the move. He's up into 14th position, overtaking John Astrup, and now has a 0.2 second gap. Bodkin continues his charge, now in 13th, with a 0.3 second lead over Astrup, who is now in 15th. Josh Daw is in 17th, hunting down David Constable Barry in 16th, only 0.2 seconds separating them. Daw's best lap is a 1:42.001.
Daw is right there. A 0.2 second gap is nothing. He's looking for that opportunity to dive up the inside or get a better run out of the corner. This is going to be a tense battle.
Josh Daw has moved into 16th, but David Constable Barry is now up into 14th with a 0.6 second lead over Daw. What a dynamic race this has been. The positions in the midfield are constantly in flux, making it incredibly hard to predict.
It truly is. We saw Bodkin make a great charge, then Dorado lose ground, and Stokes drop back. This circuit really punishes even the smallest miscalculation. I know that all too well.
It highlights the importance of consistency. Even if you don't have the outright pace, steady laps can see you gain ground.
Exactly. Every lap is a test of discipline. You're constantly managing tires, fuel, and trying to hit your marks without pushing too hard and making a costly error. It's a mental game as much as a physical one.
And we've still got a good amount of time left on the clock, plus that extra lap, so there's ample opportunity for more drama.
I wouldn't count anyone out yet. With these Chevrolet Copa Montanas, the racing is always tight, and a small slip-up from one driver is an instant invitation for another to pounce.
John Astrup is now in 17th, chasing Daniel Kocic in 16th, with a 0.3 second gap. Astrup's best lap is a 1:42.277.
Astrup will be working hard to close that gap. 3/10 is on the edge of the slipstream, so he'll need a strong exit onto a straight to really put the pressure on Kocic.
Astrup has made a gain, now in 16th, but Daniel Kocic is still ahead in 15th, extending his lead to 0.4 seconds. Nigel Walters is right on the tail of John Astrup, just 0.1 seconds behind in 17th, with Astrup in 16th.
This is incredibly tight. Walters is putting immense pressure on Astrup. One small twitch, one slight mistake, and Walters will be through. This is racing at its finest.
Still that tiny 0.1 second gap between Walters and Astrup, with Astrup holding 16th.
They are absolutely glued together. Neither driver wants to give an inch, and it's making for spectacular viewing. You can feel the tension building between them.
Joel Lemrick is in 19th on lap 9, with Nico Vaughn 0.3 seconds back in 20th. Lemrick's best lap is a 1:41.289.
Lemrick will be happy with that 3/10 cushion over Vaughn. It gives him a bit of breathing space to focus on what's ahead, rather than constantly defending from behind.
Phil Bodkin is in 13th, now chasing Rich Snape in 12th, just 0.2 seconds between them. Bodkin's best lap now a 1:41.118. The gap between Bodkin and Snape has edged out to 0.3 seconds, Snape still holding 12th.
Snape is really digging in. He's managed to just pull clear enough to make it difficult for Bodkin to attack, holding onto that P12 for now.
Philip Kuntz is still in second place, closing on race leader Jody Fannin, the gap now just 0.3 seconds. Kuntz posting a rapid 1:40.394 last lap.
Kuntz is absolutely pushing the limits out there, shaving that lead down to 3/10. If Fannin makes even the slightest error, Kuntz will be right there to seize the lead. This is going to be a nail-biter finish.
Kuntz has done it. Philip Kuntz has taken the lead from Jody Fannin, and they are side by side. Josh Daw is in 18th, just 0.1 seconds behind Nigel Walters in 17th on lap 10. Daw has clocked a new best lap of 1:40.984. Daw has made the move. Josh Daw is now into 17th, with Nigel Walters dropping to 18th, and Daw has opened up a 0.5 second gap.
Fantastic driving from Daw. He's not only made the pass but immediately consolidated it with a half-second advantage, really showcasing his pace and confidence.
Nico Vaughn is in 20th, chasing Joel Lemrick in 19th, just 0.2 seconds between them. The gap to Joel Lemrick has extended to 0.5 seconds, with Vaughn still in 20th. John Astrup is in 16th, still trailing Daniel Kocic in 15th by 0.4 seconds. Astrup's best lap is 1:42.277.
Astrup is persistently trying to close that gap. 4/10 isn't insurmountable, but he'll need to find something extra in the next few corners to make a proper challenge.
The gap between Astrup and Kocic has stretched again, now 0.6 seconds, with Astrup still in 16th. Phil Bodkin is now in 12th, with Rich Snape right on his bumper, just a tenth of a second behind him. Still absolutely nose to tail between Bodkin and Snape, the gap remains at 0.1 seconds, Bodkin holding 12th. Rich Snape is in 13th, still just 0.1 seconds behind Phil Bodkin in 12th. Snape is still right on Botkin's gearbox, the gap a mere 0.1 seconds, as they continue their intense battle for 12th. What a phenomenal overtake from Kuntz to take the lead. He'd been applying pressure relentlessly, and it finally paid off.
That's what you practice for, knowing exactly when to strike. Fanon left just the smallest of openings, and Kuntz seized it perfectly. It takes incredible confidence and precision.
And these battles further down the order, like Botkin and Snape, are just as enthralling, running a tenth apart for multiple laps.
Those close battles are incredibly draining for a driver. You're constantly having to defend, attack, manage your line, and keep an eye on your mirrors. It's exhilarating but exhausting.
With the time winding down and the extra laps still to come, there's absolutely no room for error now at the sharp end.
Exactly. Every corner, every braking zone, every gear change becomes magnified. One small mistake can cost you everything in these final stages, especially when you're battling wheel to wheel.
We've seen some incredible improvements from drivers like Daw, making up positions consistently.
That's the sign of a driver who's found their rhythm and is executing their plan. Sometimes it's not about the flashiest overtake, but the consistent, methodical progress that truly pays off.
It's still anyone's race, particularly for the podium spots.
The adrenaline will be pumping through the roof for these drivers right now. It's all about who can hold their nerve and extract that last ounce of performance from the car.
Chris Stokes is in 11th, now 0.6 seconds behind Adam Tias in 10th. Stokes' best lap is a 1:41.358.
Stokes has got some work to do to close that half-second gap. He'll need to really put the hammer down in the next few corners to get back into contention for that top 10 spot.
The gap between Stokes and Tias has stretched even further, now a substantial 1.3 seconds, with Tias holding 10th.
That's a tough break for Stokes. Losing that much ground means he's now out of contention for a direct challenge to Tias. Something must have happened there, or Tias has found a new burst of pace.
Philip Kuntz is holding a crucial 1-second lead over Jody Fanon and is just 20 seconds away from the checkered flag.
Kuntz is managing this lead perfectly. A 1-second gap with so little time left is exactly what you want. It gives you just enough buffer to control the final moments and avoid any late race heroics from Fanon.
And Philip Kuntz crosses the line. What a drive from second on the grid to take the win.
A strong performance from Jody Fanon to finish second, holding the lead for much of the race but ultimately unable to defend against Kuntz's charge.
Martin Mull comes across the line in third place, a fantastic drive from 6th on the grid to secure a podium finish. Following them across the line, it's Elliot Norton in 4th, Maximilian Turbin 5th, Thomas Kruger Dorado in 6th, and Jimmy Lindo takes 7th. Further down the order, Dominic Fovart finishes 8th, Mac McFarquhar takes 9th, Adam Tias crosses in 10th, and Chris Stokes finishes in 11th. Finishing up the top 15, we have Phil Bodkin in 12th, David Constable Barry in 13th, Rich Snape in 14th, and Daniel Kosic taking 15th.
Every one of those drivers put in a tremendous effort. Finishing in those mid-pack positions requires just as much focus and skill, sometimes more, than battling at the front. Great job by all of them.
Nigel Walters finishes 16th, John Astrup 17th, Nico Von 18th, and John Boontakis comes across in 19th. Rounding out those who have crossed the line so far, it's Josh Daw in 20th, and Darren Nickel takes 21st. And Neil Constable Barry finishes the race in 22nd position. The tension is palpable here at Interlagos, a blustery 13-knot wind adding an extra dimension to what promises to be an incredible race.
That wind will be a significant factor through the Senna S and the quicker sections. It really unsettles the car and demands pinpoint precision.
Darren Nicol, the AM-class driver from the UK, starts from a fantastic second position on the grid today in his Chevrolet Copa Montana. And right behind him in third, another AM-class driver, Josh Daw, also in a Chevrolet Copa Montana, lining up for what could be a big day. Making it 3 Chevrolet Copa Montanas in a row at the front, John Boontakis of Greece starts from 4th. Nico Vaughn, another AM-class driver, holds the 5th spot on the grid, completing a strong Chevrolet Copa Montana contingent in the top 5.
This shows just how competitive the AM class is this season. These drivers are pushing hard and really making their presence felt at the sharp end.
Breaking the AM class dominance slightly, we have John Astrup from New Zealand, a pro-class driver, starting from 6th.
Astrup will be looking to make up ground quickly. As a pro driver, you're always aiming to be at the front, regardless of your starting position.
Further down the grid, Daniel Kosic, a Pro-Am driver from Hungary, is in 8th position, also in a Chevrolet Copa Montana. And in 9th, Rich Snape of the UK, an AM-class driver, looking for a strong start to climb through the field. Rounding out our top 10 starters, David Constable-Barry, a Pro-Am driver from England, in 10th position.
These Pro-Am drivers often have a strong racecraft developed over years. Expect him to be aggressive in the opening laps.
Just outside the top 10, Phil Bodkin from England, another AM-class driver, starts from 11th.
From P11, you really have to pick your battles in the first few corners, avoid any early skirmishes and preserve your tires.
Chris Stokes, a pro-class driver from England, lines up in 12th place on the grid, looking to make quick progress. In unlucky 13th, Adam Tiaz, another AM-class driver from England, ready for the green light. Mac McFarquhar, a pro-class driver from the UK, starts in 14th in his Chevrolet Copa Montana. Dominic Fovarg, a Pro-Am driver from the UK, starts in 15th place, looking to make a charge through the pack.
In the midfield like this, the first lap is absolutely crucial for finding clear air and avoiding trouble. Getting a good run through turn 1 is everything.
And in 16th, we have Jimmy Lindo, a Pro-Am class driver, rounding out our current grid rundown. Thomas Kruger Dorado, a Pro-Am driver from the UK, starts from 17th position today.
17th is a challenging spot, but with a strong strategy and smart driving, there's always potential to climb.
And the lights are out. We are green at Interlagos and the race is officially underway. Nico Vaughn holds his starting position, P5, through the opening corners, a solid start for the AM-class driver.
Maintaining position like that on lap 1 is often as good as gaining places, especially with the chaos that can unfold in the pack.
Yellow flag, safety car is out.
We have a safety car. A big incident has occurred further back on the circuit, prompting the immediate deployment.
This changes everything. Drivers will be trying to cool their tires, manage their fuel, and mentally reset for the restart. It's a critical moment.
The yellow flags are waving all around the track now, ensuring the field bunches up behind the Mercedes-AMG GT Black Series safety car.
From a driver's perspective, under safety car you're always checking your mirrors, anticipating the restart, and trying to keep heat in the tires, which is a real challenge at Interlagos in these conditions.
That was quite the sudden turn of events, a big incident bringing out the safety car so early in the race. It really puts a pause on everything.
It does. For the drivers, this period under the safety car is a complete shift in focus. You're trying to keep the tires warm, keep some brake temperature, and stay mentally sharp for the restart.
It's interesting to see how this will affect the strategies. Some might benefit from closing the gap, while others might be frustrated by losing their early lead.
Absolutely. When I was racing, these moments were about managing the unexpected. You're thinking about fuel, about how the car balance might change with cooler tires, and crucially, where you want to be on the restart.
We saw a very strong showing from the AM-class drivers right at the front of the grid before the start. That's been a real highlight so far this season.
It certainly has been. It shows the depth of talent across all classes. They're not just making up the numbers, they're genuinely competitive and pushing the pro drivers hard.
This safety car period might actually give some of those drivers a chance to catch their breath and reassess their approach for the middle stint of the race.
Precisely. It's a chance to regroup. You use the radio, get updates from the team, and try to visualize your attack plan for when the green flag waves again.
It's fascinating how one incident can completely reset the dynamic of an entire race. The strategic possibilities just explode.
They do. You're suddenly looking at pit stop windows, potential overtakes, and how aggressively you can push when racing resumes. It's all about calculated risk.
We're all eagerly awaiting the restart. What do you think the drivers will be prioritizing when the safety car pulls in?
The main priority will be getting heat back into those tires and brakes as quickly and safely as possible on the restart lap. And then, it's about making a decisive move without risking another incident.
Unbelievable, the safety car is out once again, another big incident bringing out the yellows and bunching the field right back up.
This is tough on the drivers. Managing 2 safety car periods means repeated tire cooling and warming cycles, which can really affect performance later on.
Another safety car deployment, that's 2 in very quick succession. This is really breaking up any rhythm the drivers were trying to build.
It's incredibly frustrating for any driver who managed to build a lead, having it wiped out not once, but twice. It tests your mental fortitude, that's for sure.
And from a strategic point of view, it just throws everything up in the air again. Are teams reconsidering pit windows? Are they looking to make an early gamble?
They absolutely will be. When I was racing, a second safety car would have us on the radio immediately, discussing whether to pit, what tires to choose, and if there's an opportunity to undercut someone.
The AM-class drivers started so strongly, particularly the Chevrolet Copa Montana contingent. They must be wondering if these interruptions will help or hinder their chances.
It's a double-edged sword. It might help them cool their tires if they were pushing hard, but it also allows the pro drivers who might have been struggling to regroup and come back at them stronger.
It makes for compelling viewing for us though, doesn't it? The unpredictability is what makes these races so thrilling.
Definitely. As a driver, you learn to adapt. Every time the safety car comes out, it's a new race in itself, a new chance to make a statement or to make a mistake.
We've barely had any green flag running yet, so everyone will be chomping at the bit for the next restart. The tension will be immense.
It will be. The first few corners after a safety car restart are often the most action-packed. Drivers will be looking for any gap, but also trying to avoid the chaos we've seen already.
This is incredible, a third safety car period already after another significant incident on track.
Free safety cars means the race rhythm is completely shattered. Tire management and restarts are now going to define this event.
Three safety cars already. This is an absolutely unprecedented start to a race. The drivers must be pulling their hair out.
From a driver's perspective, this is where it becomes a true test of patience and mental endurance. You're constantly resetting, constantly refocusing.
It's barely felt like we've had any genuine racing laps. Every time a gap starts to form, the safety car is deployed and it's all back to square one.
Exactly. You try to get into a flow, find your rhythm, and then suddenly you're behind the safety car again. It's so hard to build confidence in the car when it keeps cooling down.
The strategic calls
Safety car in this lap
must be incredibly difficult right now. Do you gamble on a short green flag run, or prepare for more interruptions?
It's a nightmare scenario for strategists. They're constantly recalculating fuel loads, tire degradation, and potential pit windows. It's like playing chess blindfolded at times.
And for the AM-class drivers who've shown such promise, this stop-start nature might either help them conserve energy or break their focus entirely.
It could go either way. On one hand, less frantic racing. On the other, the pressure of constant restarts and trying to maintain position in a compressed field is immense.
You mentioned tire temperatures before. How much of a factor does this many safety cars become in trying to keep the rubber in the optimal window?
It's huge. You lose temperature, you lose grip. Then on the restart, you're scrubbing the tires aggressively to get that heat back in, which shortens their life. It's a real balancing act.
We're all waiting for some sustained green flag racing now, to see who can truly perform under pressure without these interruptions.
Get ready,
Me too.
safety car's
The race
clear.
effectively hasn't started yet. When it does, it'll be flat out, and every single driver will be looking to make up for lost time.
The safety car is in. The field bunches up and
Green,
we are
green,
about to
green,
go
let's
green
go.
once again at Interlagos.
This is where concentration is key. Drivers will be managing the gap to the car ahead, anticipating the throttle, and ensuring their tires are ready for immediate attack.
John Boontakis holds firm in 4th position, but look at Mac McFarquhar now up to 3rd, an incredible 11th-place gain, just 3/10 ahead. What an absolute charge from Mac McFarquhar, up 11 positions already to 3rd, and right on the tail of Boontakis. That's some serious early pace.
That's the kind of opportunity a pro driver looks for after a safety car restart. You have to be aggressive, spot the gaps, and commit. An 11th-place gain like that speaks volumes about his focus.
It puts a whole new dynamic on the front of the race. Boontakis, who had been running so consistently, now has a real pro-class driver breathing down his neck.
Absolutely. When I was out there, you'd feel that pressure immediately. You know a driver who's climbed that far is hungry and won't settle for 3rd. Boontakis will have to be perfect.
Considering all the safety car periods we've had, to make such significant gains in the green flag moment speaks volumes
Yellow
about
flag,
McFarquhar's
safety cars
strategy and
out.
execution.
The restarts are where the real work happens after those safety cars. You're looking for any car that's not quite up to temperature or a driver who makes a tiny mistake, and you exploit it instantly.
So Boontakis now has to decide whether to defend hard against McFarquhar, or focus on catching leaders ahead. It's a tricky position.
It's a tough call. You're trying to defend your line without losing too much time to the frontrunners. He needs to use his mirrors wisely and be prepared for an attack at any moment.
This race, despite all the interruptions, is really starting to come alive with battles like this up front. The AM versus Pro dynamic is fascinating.
It truly is. These AM drivers are showing they can run at the front, but the Pro drivers, given an inch, will take a mile. It's all about consistency and racecraft now.
The top 3 are now so close, it feels like any one of them could be challenging for the lead in the next few laps.
That's the beauty of it. The constant pressure means no one can relax. Every corner, every braking zone is an opportunity or risk.
Unbelievable, Hal. The safety car is out once again, yet another big incident forcing the yellows out.
This is becoming a pattern. 4 safety car periods now, which is just going to keep resetting the field and making the race incredibly disjointed.
Four safety cars. This is getting absolutely absurd now. We've seen more safety car laps than green flag racing, it feels like.
It's an extraordinary situation. As a driver, you're constantly fighting the mental game, trying not to get frustrated, and just focusing on the next restart.
And for a driver like Mac McFarquhar, who made such a brilliant charge, it's almost like having his hard work undone repeatedly.
It is. You build momentum, you make those overtakes, and then it's all compressed again. It really tests your ability to maintain that attacking mindset through all the stops and starts.
What about the car's performance with all these cycles of cooling down and heating back up? Does it start to affect mechanical components or tire integrity?
Absolutely. The tires are especially vulnerable. They're not designed for this constant heating and cooling. You can get graining, you can get blistering, and it impacts
Safety
grips
car in
significantly
this
on the
lap.
start.
It's turning into a race less about pure pace and more about survival and managing these unpredictable interruptions.
Exactly. It's about who can adapt best, who can keep their cool, and who can make the most of those brief green flag opportunities when they arrive.
The strategic teams must be in absolute overdrive trying to make sense of this. Every decision around a pit stop or tire change feels like a huge gamble.
Every single one. The data models they rely on for race strategy are probably completely thrown out the window by now. It's improvisation at its finest.
We're all just desperate for some sustained green flag racing to truly see who has the pace and the stamina to win this incredibly fragmented race.
When the racing finally settles, it's going to be frantic. Drivers will be pushing to the absolute limit, knowing any moment could bring another disruption.
The safety car is heading into the pits. Get ready, we are going racing again at Interlagos.
This restart
ready,
is
safety
going to
car's
be
clear.
crucial. Every driver will be fighting for track position, anticipating any mistake from the car ahead and trying to get clean air.
Green, green, green,
Elliot
let's
Norton
go.
in P14, just a tenth off Jimmy Lindo in front, showing consistent pace with his 151.868 as we approach the final 8 minutes of this race. Elliot Norton has gained a position, now up to 13th and closing on Jimmy Lindo, the gap now 3/10. Good progress there from Elliot Norton, moving up a spot. Every position gained in these chaotic conditions is hard-earned.
It is. You have to be patient but also opportunistic. Picking off one car at a time, especially with limited green flag running, is a smart strategy.
We're seeing some sustained green flag racing now, which is exactly what we've been waiting for. The pace seems to be picking up across the field.
Finally, this is where the true racecraft comes into play. Drivers can settle into a rhythm, push the limits, and really start to make a difference.
With less than 8 minutes plus a lap to go, every single corner is going to be critical for those looking to gain positions or defend their own.
Absolutely. The tires will be fully up to temperature now, the brakes too. It's flat out to the finish. Every braking zone is an overtaking opportunity or a defensive stand.
It's fascinating how different the race feels now, compared to the stop-start nature of the opening laps with all those safety cars.
It's a completely different race. The drivers who conserved their tires and kept their focus through the interruptions will be the ones pushing hard now. Experience really shows at this stage.
This late charge from Norton, among others, really highlights that you're never out of it, even after a tough start or multiple disruptions.
That's motor racing. The flag hasn't dropped until it's dropped. You keep pushing, you keep looking for opportunities, and sometimes the race comes to you.
Phil Bodkin holding P11, but only a tenth ahead of David Constable-Berry, with just 6 minutes plus a lap remaining. A 2:26.372 last lap, though his best is a much quicker 1:51.034.
That last lap time for Bodkin is a concern. He'll need to find that earlier pace
Yellow flag,
quickly,
safety
because
cars
being
out.
just a tenth ahead means immense pressure from Constable-Berry behind him.
And unbelievably, the safety car is out yet again. Another big incident brings us to a halt once more.
This is unprecedented. 5 safety cars in this race. It's a huge test of mental resilience for every driver out there, constantly losing and regaining tire temperature.
Five safety cars. I'm not sure I've ever seen a race quite like this. It's almost more safety car than green flag racing.
It's just bizarre. As a driver, you're constantly fighting your own frustration. You get a little rhythm, and then it's gone. It's truly a test of character.
That last lap from Phil Bodkin was concerning, and now this safety car, it just adds to the uncertainty for everyone in the field.
He needs to use this time to regroup, get his head straight. With so many restarts, you can't afford to be off the pace even slightly, because the field is so compressed.
We had just started to get into some proper racing, and then another incident. It's keeping everyone on the edge of their seats, but probably not in the way the drivers want.
No, they want to be racing, not circulating behind the safety car. You try to use the time to plan, but honestly, it's just about trying to stay focused and not lose your cool.
With so little time left on the clock now, this safety car period could potentially dictate the entire outcome, depending on if we get another restart.
It's a definite possibility. It reduces the window for any strategic gambles or late charges. The next restart, if it happens, will be absolutely critical for the final outcome.
The mechanics and engineers on the pit wall must be earning their money today. Trying to calculate strategy with this many interruptions is a monumental task.
They absolutely are. The data becomes almost irrelevant with this many disruptions. It's all about quick thinking and making the best decision in an ever-changing environment.
Remarkable, the safety car is out for a 6th time. Another big incident has occurred.
6 safety cars is just incredible. The drivers will be at their wits' end. This isn't racing, it's a series of restarts and braking drills.
Six safety cars. 6. I don't think I've ever witnessed anything quite like this in all my years covering motor racing. It's truly astonishing.
This isn't just frustrating, it's a completely different kind of challenge for the drivers. It stops being about finding a rhythm and more about managing absolute chaos and constant resets.
It feels less like a motor race and more like a series of very brief sprints punctuated by long periods behind the safety car. The green flag running has been so minimal.
Exactly. You're trying to keep heat in the tires, keep the brakes
Safety car
working,
in
and
this lap.
anticipating the restart every single time, only for it to be interrupted again. It's mentally draining.
The strategic calls must be completely unmanageable now. Whatever plans were made before the race, they must be completely shredded by this point.
They absolutely are. Any detailed strategy is out the window. It's pure reactive decision-making now, trying to make the best of a completely unpredictable situation.
This really highlights the unpredictable nature of the sport, but to this extreme? It's making it very difficult for any driver to truly showcase their pace.
It does. Your raw pace becomes less important than your ability to survive these restarts and manage your tires under such inconsistent conditions. It's a different skill set that's being tested.
With so little time left, every single second of green flag racing, if we get any, will be utterly critical. The pressure will be immense for the drivers to make an impression.
Get
The
ready,
pressure
safety
is
car's clear.
astronomical. You know you have to seize any opportunity because it might be the last one. Every overtake attempt becomes high risk, high reward.
We're all just hoping for some sustained action now, to see who can finally come out on top after this truly
Green,
huge
let's
stop-start
go.
event.
It's going to come down to whoever has the best car balance for quick bursts, and who can stay calmest under repeated pressure. It's a race of survival at this point.
The safety car is in. We are finally going green again, for what might be the last time in this incredible race.
This is it. Drivers will be pushing immediately, looking for any gap. It's an all-out sprint to the finish now.
Thomas Kruger Dorado in P14 on lap 8, a second behind Nigel Walters. His last lap was a 2:12.630, but his best is a much quicker 1:50.764.
That 1 second gap is manageable, but Dorado absolutely needs to find that personal best pace again if he wants to challenge Walters in these final stages.
Darren Nickel, who started P2, has dropped back to P20, 15.2 seconds behind Phil Bodkin, with a 2:14.993 last lap, a significant drop from his 1:47.276 best. Dominic Fobarg in P12, just 0.3 behind Maximilian Turbin, his last lap
Yellow flag, safety car's out.
but showing potential with a 1:46.510 best. Absolutely incredible, the safety car is out yet again, a 7th time, after another huge incident on track.
This is beyond belief. From a driver's seat, this repeated stop-start is maddening. It's so hard to build any confidence or heat into the tires.
Seven safety cars. This is utterly beyond anything I've ever witnessed. It feels like we're watching a game of musical chairs rather than a motor race.
This is an absolute mental endurance test for the drivers. Every time you try to get into a rhythm, the safety car is out again, cooling everything down and resetting the field.
We just saw Darren Nickel, who started P2, now all the way back in P20. These conditions are clearly having a dramatic impact on some drivers.
Nickel's situation highlights the difficulty. Starting high means you're expecting clean air and to manage your own race, but these constant disruptions can really unsettle a driver and their car's balance.
From a spectator's perspective, it's certainly unpredictable, but it must be incredibly frustrating for the teams and drivers with their strategies constantly being torn up.
It's chaos on the pit wall. All the simulations and preparations are out the window. You're making split-second decisions based on instinct and limited real-time data.
I can't remember a race where pure pace has been so sidelined by the need for survival and managing these relentless interruptions.
You're absolutely right. This isn't about being the fastest anymore, it's about being the most adaptable, the most patient, and crucially, avoiding the incidents that keep bringing out the safety car.
With the clock ticking down, it's hard to imagine we'll get any sustained green flag racing now. This could well be how the race concludes.
If it does restart, it'll be a 1 or 2 lap dash, and drivers will be incredibly aggressive. They know it's their last chance to make a move, but the risk of another incident is huge.
Unbelievable, the safety car is out yet again, an 8th time. There's been another massive incident on track.
This is beyond anything I've witnessed in my career. 8 safety cars in one race completely negates any real racing and pushes drivers to their absolute limits of frustration.
Eight safety cars. I'm genuinely at a loss for words. This race has been defined purely by its interruptions rather than its racing.
This is an impossible situation for the drivers. You can't get any temperature into the tires, you can't build any confidence, and every restart is just another high-risk moment.
We've seen drivers like Darren Nickel, who started P2, fall all the way back to P20. It just shows how devastating these conditions can be to a driver's race.
It's demoralizing. You've prepared for a full-on race, and instead, you're constantly braking and accelerating behind a safety car. Your focus shifts from speed to just not making a mistake in the chaos.
With so little time left on the clock, this could very well be how the race finishes. It's an anticlimax, but understandable given the sheer number of incidents.
It might be the safest option at this point. The track clearly has an issue today, and it's taking its toll on the field. Better to finish safely than risk more incidents.
The integrity of the race has been completely overshadowed by the safety car periods. It's a race of attrition, but not in the way we usually mean it.
It really is. It's attrition through frustration and cold tires, rather than outright mechanical failure from pushing too hard. It's a unique challenge.
What happens now with so few green flag laps? How do you even assess performance in a race like this?
You look at who kept their head, who managed to stay out of trouble, and who made the most of those tiny windows of green flag racing. Consistency under pressure becomes paramount.
It's certainly a race that will live long in the memory, perhaps for all the wrong reasons, but memorable nonetheless.
Absolutely. Every driver will have a story to tell about this one. It's a reminder of just how unpredictable motor racing can be, even at the highest levels.
This is truly unbelievable. The safety car is out for a 9th time, after yet another significant incident on the circuit.
9 safety cars in a single race is absolutely unheard of. The drivers must be completely drained from the constant restarts and the sheer lack of consistent running.
Safety car in this lap.
The safety car is in. We are set for what must surely be our final restart of this extraordinary race.
Every single driver will be on edge. After 9 safety cars, this is their last chance to make a move, and the aggression levels will be through the roof.
Chris Stokes now in P4 on lap 10, just 3/10 off Martin Mole in 3rd, but his last lap was a 2:25.404, well off his 1:43.920 best, as we head into the final stages. Adam Tias in P7, half a second back from Neil Constable Barry in 6th, a 2:21.464 last lap, but capable of a 1:46.471 personal best. Mac McFarquhar holds the lead, just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, but John Astrup is right there, only 6/10 behind.
Get ready, safety car's clear. Green, 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 let's go.
Mac McFarquhar takes the checkered flag, an incredible victory, coming all the way from 14th on the grid. John Astrup crosses the line to secure a fantastic 2nd place, having started the race from 6th position. And Martin Mole takes 3rd place, an absolutely outstanding drive from P20 on the grid to claim a podium finish. Chris Stokes takes 4th, Elliot Norton 5th, with Neil Constable Barry in 6th, and Adam Tias finishing a strong 7th. Rich Snape finishes 8th, David Constable Barry takes 9th, Philip Kunz in 10th, and Dominic Fovard finishes just outside the top 10 in 11th.
Every one of these drivers battled hard through what has been one of the most challenging and interrupted races we've seen, so to finish is an achievement in itself.
Nigel Walters finishes 12th, Thomas Kruger Dorado 13th, Maximilian Turbin 14th, and Josh Daw crosses the line in 15th. Daniel Kochish finishes 16th, John Boontakis in 17th, Jimmy Lindo 18th, and Phil Bodkin completes his race in 19th position. Darren Nickel, who started an impressive 2nd on the grid, crosses the line in 20th position. practice session continues, 8 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock, and Jimmy Lindo is still yet to post a lap time. Down to 7 minutes and 51 seconds now, and we're still waiting for Jody Fannin to set a flying lap in this practice session.
Sometimes you see this, working through setup changes or just getting a feel for the car before pushing, but the clock is certainly ticking.
The clock ticks down to 7 minutes 19 seconds, and Jimmy Lindo remains without a recorded lap in this practice.
He's really cutting it fine. In my experience, you want at least one banker lap in early, just in case something unforeseen happens later.
Jody Fannin still hasn't posted a lap time, with only 6 minutes and 47 seconds left on the clock for this practice. With 6 minutes 15 seconds remaining in this session, Jimmy Lindo is still without a time lap.
That's a very tight window now. At this point, I'd be pushing for at least one quick lap to understand the car's balance before the session ends.
Jody Fannin has yet to register a lap time, the clock showing 5 minutes 50 seconds remaining. Now attention turns to Neil Constable Barry, who has yet to set a lap time with just 4 minutes and 2 seconds left in practice.
4 minutes is barely enough for an out lap and a flying lap on most circuits. He'll have to be on it immediately if he wants to get a read on the car.
Jody Fannin still without a lap time, the clock now under 3.5 minutes. Darren Nickel has not yet posted a time, only 2 minutes 58 seconds left in this practice session. David Constable Barry also joins the list of drivers yet to set a lap, with 2 minutes 26 seconds on the clock. Less than 2 minutes to go, 1 minute 54 seconds, and Neil Constable Barry still hasn't registered a time.
This is really pushing the limits now. If he's got any issues, he won't get a chance to fix them before qualifying.
And there it is. Jody Fannin finally on the board, a 140.756 puts him into second position.
That's an impressive first lap, straight into the sharp end of the grid. Shows he knew what he was doing waiting this long.
Down to the final 50 seconds, and Darren Nickel has still not recorded a lap time.
He really needs to get a move on. Even just one lap to scrub in tires or check systems, this is a risky strategy.
Martin Mull is still without a lap time, with only 18 seconds remaining in practice.
He's virtually out of time now. Whatever they were hoping to achieve, it looks like they'll miss out on a timed run.
And David Constable Barry also joins the list of drivers who look set to finish practice without a registered lap, just 13 seconds left.
This can sometimes mean a technical issue or just opting for a very different test program. But it's certainly not ideal for driver confidence.
Neil Constable Barry finds some pace. A 142.857 puts him into fourth position with just 45 seconds left on the clock. David Constable Barry still hasn't posted a lap time, and we're down to the final minute and 10 seconds of practice. Now Philip Kunz is without a lap time, with only 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this practice session.
2 minutes 15 is cutting it incredibly fine. He'll need a perfect outlap and then to be on it immediately for any kind of meaningful run.
Welcome to Interlagos, the track is alive and qualifying is just moments from getting underway.
This circuit always demands respect, and with that wind at 9, it's going to be a real test for car balance, especially through the Senna. You feel every gust there.
We're just shy of 4.5 minutes remaining in this session, and Chris Stokes still hasn't registered a lap time. Now Rich Snape is another driver yet to put time on the board with just over 4 minutes remaining.
They might be waiting for a clearer track, or perhaps just getting a feel for the conditions on an out lap. You never want to rush that first flying lap.
more drivers still looking for a time. Nigel Walters is another one, with under 4 minutes left in this crucial qualifying session.
Every second counts now. If you haven't put in a banker lap, the pressure really starts to build. Finding clear air is crucial.
Maximilian Turbin is another name yet to register, and the clock keeps ticking down, now with just over 3 minutes left. Maximilian Turbin has crossed the line, but a 0.000 lap time puts them in 22nd. That won't be their representative effort.
That's likely an out lap or perhaps an issue that saw the lap invalidated. You're just betting in the tires and brakes, not pushing for a time yet.
Time is rapidly running out. Less than 3 minutes remaining and Chris Stokes still hasn't posted a qualifying time. And Chris Stokes nails it. A 1:40.179 puts him straight into provisional pole position with just over a minute and a half to go. Adam Tias is P4, but they're currently showing a negative delta of 0.15, meaning they are absolutely on a charge.
This is where you extract everything from the car. Finding a tenth or two in these last sectors with a negative delta is a massive confidence boost.
Mac McFarquhar is sitting in P7, but look at that delta. Half a second up on their best. This could be a big mover.
That's a significant improvement. They're clearly finding pace where others are struggling. Every corner counts in these final moments.
Less than 50 seconds now, and Elliot Norton is still without a registered time. It's now or never for them. Chris Stokes is currently P3, but is even faster on this lap. Nearly 3/10 up, they could reclaim pole position here. Chris Stokes improves, a 1:39.904, but that only puts them into second position. The provisional pole has been snatched away.
That's what this session is all about, last gasp efforts. To improve and still drop a place just shows how competitive it is right to the flag.
Thomas Kruger Dorado still needs to find a time, and with only 24 seconds left, it's going to be extremely tight. Thomas Kruger Dorado gets a time on the board. A 1:40.249 puts them into 6th place, a solid effort under pressure. Rich Snape is currently P20, holding a 1:43.004, but with no current improvement on this lap and time slipping away. Josh Dahl in P11, but they are 2/10 off their best on this current run. It doesn't look like an improvement is coming. Philip Kunz is 3rd, but they're pushing hard. A 10th up on their best, this could launch them further up the grid. Jody Fannin is flying, almost 9/10 up on their previous best. What a lap this is turning out to be for them. Philip Kunz is P2 with a 1:39.859, but this current lap is way off the pace, over 3.5 seconds down on their best. That lap by Philip Kunz doesn't count, still holding P2 with their 1:39.859, but no new lap completed there. Welcome race fans to Interlagos. The air is thick with anticipation and a steady 9 km/h wind is blowing across this iconic WEC circuit.
That wind can really play havoc through the high-speed sections here, especially on worn tires later in the stint.
On the third spot of the grid, we have Chris Stokes from England, a pro-class driver, ready to go in his Chevrolet Copa Montana. Right behind him, in fourth, it's Maximilian Turbin, also from England, in a Chevrolet Copa Montana, an M-Class competitor. Jody Fannin, a pro-class driver, rounds out the top 5 in another Chevrolet Copa Montana.
3 Copa Montanas in the top 5, that consistency shows they've found a great setup for this track.
Position 6 goes to Jimmy Lindo, a Pro-Am class driver, piloting a Chevrolet Copa Montana. And in 7th, it's Thomas Kruger Dorado from the United Kingdom, another Pro-Am driver, also in a Chevrolet Copa Montana. Completing our look at the top 8, Adam Tias from England is in P8, an M-Class driver in his Chevrolet Copa Montana.
It's great to see so many M drivers high up the grid. Their consistency in qualifying often gets overlooked.
In 9th, we find Phil Bodkin, another M-Class driver from England, behind the wheel of a Chevrolet Copa Montana. Rounding out the top 10, Mac McFarquhar from the United Kingdom, a pro-class driver, in a Chevrolet Copa Montana. Just outside the top 10, David Constable Barry, a Pro-Am class driver from England, starts from P11 in his Chevrolet Copa Montana.
He'll be looking to make up positions quickly, especially with all these Montanas having such similar pace.
Starting from 12th position, it's Josh Daw, an M-Class driver in a Chevrolet Copa Montana. Nigel Walters, another M-Class driver from the United Kingdom, will be starting this race from position 13 in his Chevrolet Copa Montana.
M drivers starting mid-pack often find themselves in some of the most intense battles early on. It's a great place to showcase racecraft.
From New Zealand, pro-class driver John Astrup starts his Chevrolet Copa Montana from 14th on the grid. And in 15th, we have Dominic Fovard from the United Kingdom, a Pro-Am class driver in a Chevrolet Copa Montana.
He's got a lot of fast drivers around him, so the opening laps will be crucial for him to find some clear air.
Nico Vaughn, an M-Class driver, begins his race from 16th position in a Chevrolet Copa Montana. From Hungary, Daniel Kosic, a Pro-Am class driver, is in 17th position in his Chevrolet Copa Montana.
He'll be looking to use the slipstream coming into turn 1 to gain a few places off the line.
Rounding out our grid, John Boontakis from Greece, an M-Class driver, starts from 18th in a Chevrolet Copa Montana. The lights are out and we are underway at Interlagos. A fantastic start as the field charges into turn 1.
Everyone's jostling for position. That initial burst of power and finding the right line into the first corner is absolutely critical.
Martin Mole, who started on pole, has dropped back to 2nd position already on this opening lap.
Yellow flag, safety car's out.
Safety car. A big incident has brought out the yellows almost immediately.
Oh, that's a tough break so early in the race. The field will now bunch up, and everyone will be checking their mirrors.
Replays will confirm, but it looks like there's some debris on track after that contact.
Under safety car, it's about managing tire temperatures and keeping focus, even if the pace has dropped right off.
That was certainly an explosive start to the race, wasn't it? from lights out to safety car in what felt like moments.
It's always a shame to see an early incident, but sometimes it's unavoidable in such a tight field, especially into turn 1.
Indeed, it completely reshuffles the deck for some, bringing those who had a poor start right back into contention.
Exactly. For a driver, this is when you regroup, check your systems, and try to keep heat in the tires, which is harder than it sounds.
It must be a frustrating time for those who gained positions cleanly, only for them to be nullified by the safety car.
It is, but it also presents new opportunities. You're thinking about the restart, where you can attack, and what others might do.
We saw a lot of Chevrolet Copa Montanas up front, highlighting their strong performance in qualifying across different classes.
That tells me the setup window for these cars at Interlagos is quite broad, allowing various driving styles to excel.
The wind speed earlier was noted at 9 km per hour. Could that have contributed to any instability in the pack?
Possibly, a gust at the wrong moment entering a high-speed corner could certainly unsettle a car, especially in dirty air.
It's always fascinating to see how a race strategy adapts on the fly to these early disruptions.
That's the art of race management. Anticipating the restart, and knowing when to push and when to conserve.
Unbelievable, the safety car is out again. Another big incident brings the yellows back onto the track.
This is incredibly disruptive for rhythm. Just as drivers were finding their pace, the field bunches up once more.
We barely had any green flag running before this. This second incident could really shake up strategies.
It's mentally tough for the drivers, always switching between flat-out racing and managing the pace under yellows. You have to stay incredibly focused.
Two safety car periods so early in the race. This is proving to be a start filled with drama and very little actual racing.
It's incredibly frustrating for the drivers.
Safety car
You're
in
constantly
this lap.
trying to get into a rhythm, then it's broken, then you try again.
It must be difficult to keep the tires in their optimal working window when the pace keeps dropping off and then picking up.
Absolutely. Keeping heat in the tires under safety car is a constant battle. You're weaving and accelerating just to maintain temperature.
This kind of stop-start action can often lead to more incidents once the green flag flies again, as drivers are eager to make up for lost time.
There's definitely that pent-up energy. Everyone wants to attack at the restart, and that can lead to aggressive moves into turn 1.
These incidents might also be putting a premium on drivers who are good at restarts, rather than pure pace over a long run.
Totally. Being decisive and knowing exactly where to place your car when the green flag drops becomes paramount.
The team strategists will be tearing their hair out, trying to plan around these unforeseen stoppages.
It throws everything out the window. Fuel economy, tire wear projections, it all changes instantly, demanding
Get
quick
ready,
thinking.
safety car's clear.
We've hardly seen any racing at all, but the tension is palpable with everyone bunched up like this.
Every restart is like a mini race in itself. You have to be perfect, or you'll lose places you just fought for.
Green, 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 let's
The
go.
safety car lights are off, and it's pulling into the pits. We're about to go green again at Interlagos.
Here we go. Everyone will be on edge now, anticipating that moment the leader steps on the throttle.
And as the safety car pulls in, it's Philip Kuntz who has taken over the lead. He's now in first position with Martin Mole 0.4 seconds behind.
That's an incredible move to seize the lead right at the restart. Getting the jump like that is all about timing and commitment.
Down the order now, David Constable Barry is in P18, but he has John Buntakis right on his tail, a 0.0 second gap at the line on lap 2, with 15 minutes plus a lap remaining. David Constable Barry has dropped to 19th position, with John Buntakis now 2 places ahead and 17th, opening up a 1.5 second gap after that fierce battle. Moving up the order, Chris Stokes is battling hard for 9th, just 0.2 seconds behind Mac McFarquhar in P8 as they push on lap 2.
That's a classic Interlagos battle, trying to find that perfect run out of the corners to set up an overtake into the next braking zone.
Chris Stokes has gained a position, now in 8th, but Mac McFarquhar has opened up a 1.1 second lead, now in 6th position. Daniel Koshich is running in 17th, just 0.3 seconds behind David Constable Barry, both drivers pushing hard on lap 2. Daniel Koscic remains in 17th, but David Constable Barry has now extended that gap to 1.4 seconds in 16th position. On lap 3, Nigel Walters is right on the gearbox of Dominic Fauvargue, just a tenth separating them for 11th position. Nigel Walters has made the move stick. He's now in 11th, putting 0.2 seconds between himself and Dominic Fauvargue.
That's a clean overtake. Getting it done early in the stint means he can now focus on the car ahead.
It's another close one. David Constable Barry is right on the rear of John Boontakis, battling for 15th position. The gap is 0. David Constable Barry has passed John Boontakis, moving into 15th and establishing a 0.3 second lead. Mac McFarquhar is holding strong in 6th position, now with a 1.6 second cushion over Jimmy Lindo in 7th. Mac McFarquhar has dropped 4 places to 10th, now 2.3 seconds behind Jimmy Lindo, who has moved up to 6th position. This race has certainly been a rollercoaster, hasn't it? Very little sustained green flag action, but plenty of drama.
It's incredibly challenging when the rhythm is broken like this. You have to be ready to switch from race pace to safety car speeds and back again instantly.
We've seen some intense battles, particularly that fight between David Constable Barry and John Boontakis, a 0-second gap at one point.
Those close quarters fights are where you really earn your money. Knowing when to commit and when to yield a little space to keep the momentum going is key.
Mac McFarquhar's sudden drop from 6th to 10th was quite significant. Wonder what happened there.
Could be anything from a small lockup costing momentum, or maybe he just got caught out by a driver making an aggressive move from behind. Sometimes you just run out of road.
John Boontakis is battling for 15th position on lap 4, just 0.2 seconds behind David Constable Barry. John Boontakis has retaken 15th. He's now just ahead of David Constable Barry, a 0-second gap between them once more.
That's tenacity right there. When you've been passed, immediately fighting back is a sign of a driver who really wants that position.
And John Boontakis has lost the position again, now in 16th, with David Constable Barry pulling out a 1.0 second lead in 15th.
Sometimes you just don't have enough to hold on. The car ahead might have had better exit speed from the previous corner.
Elliot Norton is pushing hard for 12th, currently in 13th, just 0.2 seconds off Nigel Walters on lap 4. Elliot Norton has made up a spot to 12th, but Nigel Walters has pulled away slightly, now in 10th with a 0.5 second advantage. Elliot Norton continues to make progress, now in 11th and closing the gap to Nigel Walters for 10th to just 0.2 seconds. Martin Mull is right on the tail of Philip Kuntz for the lead, just a tenth of a second separating them on lap 4. Martin Mull has done it. He's taken the lead from Philip Kuntz, and the gap is absolutely nothing, 0.0 seconds.
That's what you call a clinical overtake. Finding that tiny window and making it stick, even with the cars so evenly matched.
Martin Mull has lost the lead back to Philip Kuntz, who now has a 0.4 second advantage in first position. Adam Tiaz is currently in 19th, trying to close the 0.3 second gap to Rich Snape ahead in 18th on lap 5. Adam Tiaz is still in 19th, but he's closing in on Rich Snape, the gap now down to 0.2 seconds.
He's finding some pace, trying to make an impression in this part of the field. Every position counts.
Adam Tiaz has successfully made the move, now in 18th position and pulling out a 0.3 second lead over Rich Snape. Josh Daw is running in 14th, just 0.2 seconds adrift of David Constable Barry in 13th on lap 5. The gap is gone. Josh Daw is right on David Constable Barry's bumper, battling for 13th, it's 0.0 seconds. Thomas Kruger Dorado is fighting for 4th position on lap 5, just 0.2 seconds behind Jimmy Lindo. Thomas Kruger Dorado has taken 4th place. It was a brilliant move, with Jimmy Lindo now immediately behind him, 0 gap.
That's how you do it. Using that slipstream to perfection, then being brave on the brakes to complete the pass.
John Boontakis is chasing Dominic Fovard for 15th position. The gap is 0.3 seconds on lap 6. The gap between John Boontakis and Dominic Fovard has opened slightly to 0.5 seconds, with Fovard holding 15th. John Boontakis gets it done. He's moved into 15th, and Dominic Fovard is now directly behind him, a 0-second gap.
He really earned that one. Sometimes you just have to keep pushing until the opportunity finally presents itself.
Jody Fannin is in 6th, closing in on Jimmy Lindo for 5th, with a gap of 0.4 seconds on lap 6. Jody Fannin remains in 6th, but the gap to Jimmy Lindo in 5th has stretched out to 0.5 seconds. Dominic Fovard is now in 14th, just 0.2 seconds behind Josh Daw in 13th position.
He's really working hard to make up those places after losing one earlier. This is a very competitive part of the field.
Dominic Fovard still in 14th, but Josh Daw has slightly extended his lead to 0.5 seconds in 13th. Chris Stokes is now in 7th position, pushing to close a 0.4 second gap to Jody Fannin for 6th place on lap 7. Chris Stokes holds 7th, but the gap to Jody Fannin for 6th has opened to 0.5 seconds.
He might be struggling for grip or just trying to manage his tires. You can't always push flat out, especially towards the end of a stint.
Elliot Norton is in 10th, just 0.3 seconds behind Mac McFarquhar as they fight for 9th on lap 7. Elliot Norton continues to hound Mac McFarquhar, still a tight 0.3 second gap separating them in the fight for 9th. Chris Stokes has closed right back up to Jody Fannin, just 0.1 seconds separate them in the battle for 6th. Chris Stokes makes the move stick. He's into 6th, with Jody Fannin now just 0.1 seconds behind him.
That was beautifully executed. The patience paid off, waiting for the perfect moment to break the toe and get ahead.
Jody Fannin has immediately retaken 6th from Chris Stokes, who is now 0.2 seconds behind in 7th. John Astrup is in 10th, right on the tail of Elliot Norton for 9th position, just 0.1 second apart on lap 8.
This part of the field is really heating up, so many drivers nose to tail, looking for any advantage.
John Astrup is still in 10th, with Elliot Norton now extending the gap to 0.3 seconds in 9th position. Rich Snape is in 16th, attempting to close the 0.3 second gap to David Constable Barry in 15th on lap 8. Rich Snape continues to chase David Constable Barry, the gap now 0.4 seconds, with Constable Barry in 15th. Adam Tiaz is currently in 17th position, holding a 0.6 second gap to Rich Snape ahead in 16th. Adam Tias maintains 17th, with Rich Snape still 0.6 seconds ahead in 16th position.
He'll need to find a burst of pace soon if he wants to challenge for that spot, maybe push a little harder on the exit of the final corner.
Rich Snape is closing in on David Constable Barry, just 0.2 seconds separating them as they fight for 15th position. Rich Snape has made the move on David Constable Barry for 15th position, and it's a 0-second gap as they cross the line. David Constable Barry is now in 16th, immediately trying to fight back against Rich Snape for 15th, just a tenth of a second separating them. David Constable Barry is still chasing Rich Snape, who holds 15th with a 0.1 second advantage. What a series of skirmishes we've had in the mid-pack. It seems every position is being fought tooth and nail.
It truly is. When the cars are so evenly matched, like these Copa Montanas, it comes down to pure driver skill and nerve to hold or gain a position.
We've seen multiple instances of drivers losing a spot, only to immediately fight back and retake it within the very next corners.
That's the fire you need. You can't let a pass go unanswered. The psychological edge of immediately repassing can be huge for confidence.
The lead battle has been fascinating too, with Martin Mull and Philip Kuntz exchanging the top spot. That 0.0 second gap at the line was incredible.
At that level, every millisecond counts. It's about optimizing your exit from the final corner, hitting the rev limiter just right, and hoping the timing works out.
With the time running down, these battles will only intensify as drivers know they have fewer opportunities left to make a move.
Exactly. Now is when the tire management from earlier in the race either pays off or comes back to haunt you. You have to push, but smartly.
It's a testament to the driver's focus, especially after those early safety car periods disrupting any natural rhythm.
Maintaining that mental game through interruptions is probably one of the hardest parts of endurance racing. You have to be ready to sprint at any moment.
We're certainly set for a thrilling conclusion, with so many close fights up and down the grid.
Absolutely. Every driver out there is looking for an opening, and with cars this close, anything can happen in these final minutes.
Chris Stokes is once again putting pressure on Jody Fannin, just 0.2 seconds separating them for 6th position on lap 10. Jody Fannin has managed to pull away from Chris Stokes, extending the gap to 0.6 seconds in 6th place. Adam Tias is in 16th, attempting to close the 0.4 second gap to Rich Snape for 15th position. Rich Snape has managed to increase his lead over Adam Tias to 0.8 seconds, holding 15th position. Mac McFarquhar is right on Chris Stokes' tail, just 0.2 seconds separating them as they battle for 7th position. Mac McFarquhar has seized 7th position, a 0.0 second gap as he crosses the line ahead of Chris Stokes.
What a move. He really had to work for that one, but it shows how determined he is to climb through the field.
Jody Fannin is holding 6th, now trying to close the 0.3 second gap to Jimmy Lindo for 5th position.
He's got the pace, it's just about finding that right moment to make the overtake stick without losing too much momentum.
Jody Fannin remains in 6th, still 0.3 seconds behind Jimmy Lindo in 5th, a very consistent gap. Elliot Norton is holding 9th, with a 0.2 second gap back to Nigel Walters in 10th position. Elliot Norton continues to hold ninth, still with that 0.2 second advantage over Nigel Walters. These mid-pack battles are absolutely relentless, aren't they? Every driver seems to be pushing right to the very limit.
It's physically and mentally draining out there, especially when you're nose to tail for lap after lap. You have to be perfect, because one small mistake and you're vulnerable.
We've seen multiple instances of overtakes and then immediate re-overtakes, like with Mac McFarquhar and Chris Stokes just now.
That's where racecraft truly shines. Knowing when to make the move and then being able to defend it immediately after is a real skill. Sometimes you even let a car pass to get the slipstream back.
With the clock ticking down, every tenth of a second in these direct fights is becoming increasingly crucial.
Absolutely. Now it's not just about pace, it's about tire management through those sustained battles. Who's got the rubber left for a final push?
It's fascinating how a race with so many safety car periods can still produce such intense, tight racing once we get green flag running.
The bunched up field certainly contributes to it. Everyone is so close on pace, so any small advantage becomes magnified.
The Interlagos circuit really seems to encourage this kind of close, wheel-to-wheel action.
The long straights into the heavy braking zones, followed by those flowing corners, give multiple opportunities. You can attack, defend, and then re-attack.
We could be in for a photo finish in some of these groups, not just for the lead.
That's the beauty of racing. You never know who's going to find that extra gear or make that brave move in the dying minutes.
Philip Kuntz crosses the line, a phenomenal drive from second on the grid to take the win here at Interlagos. Martin Mole comes home in second place, a strong finish after starting from pole position.
Finishing second from pole can be bittersweet, but it's still a fantastic result, showing consistent pace throughout the race.
Maximilian Turbin takes the final podium spot, a superb drive to claim third after starting fourth.
An M-Class driver on the podium, that is a truly exceptional performance, battling with the pro drivers all race long.
Thomas Kruger Dorado secures fourth, Mac McFarquhar takes fifth, with Jimmy Lindo in sixth and Elliot Norton finishing seventh. Nigel Walters finishes eighth, Chris Stokes ninth, Jody Fannin 10th, and Phil Botkin rounds out the top 11.
To come through those constant mid-pack battles and still finish within the top 10 or 11 shows incredible focus and consistency.
Dominic Fovart takes 12th, John Astrup 13th, John Boontakis 14th, and Rich Snape completes the top 15. David Constable Barry crosses in 16th, Adam Tias in 17th, Neil Constable Barry 18th, and Darren Nickel finishes 19th.
Every single driver out there today earned their finish, especially with the disrupted flow of the race and those intense battles.
And Daniel Kocic takes the checkered flag in 20th position, completing a challenging race. Neil Constable Barry pits from 18th position on lap 13, with just 4 minutes remaining in the race.